Oh my gosh, right? Compared to the first photo, I bathed and I put on makeup. Who is this person? Um, Today I think I'm just like, I have to start getting into a routine. That involves self care, yes, washing my hair, yes, just taking care of myself and presenting myself in ways. And part of the avoidance of that was there wasn't really a need, right? It wasn't like before where I had to get up and I had to show up. And so, why? And, you know, I didn't have to interact with people. And that was a very conscious move on my part because I just wasn't ready to. I wasn't ready. I didn't feel in a good mental space to interact with people about my business. I felt really low and lost and lonely, and part of that was because I wasn't interacting with people. But more than anything, it was about making sure that I knew what I wanted to be about and that was the strongest case that I brought to anything. And I wasn't feeling secure in this transition. And so I had to kind of remove myself from those normal venues of support, and I'm working on putting myself back in there. But the biggest part, the hardest part of the transition was protecting myself from things that would have probably helped make it go faster, but could have derailed me because of the desperation that I felt in that moment. So I had to self remove so that I didn't let that depression and kind of devastation misguide me with what I originally wanted, right? And that's hard um, because I think when your influences for movement change, and they will over time, when they change like that, when it's like all of a sudden, right, we take money off the table and we stop making money, and boom, there's nothing coming in. Um, all of a sudden, it changes our driver, it changes where our minds go. And I know right when I dove in, it was like, okay, let's make the money, let's do this. And I had to pull back and really pause from that mindset because that wasn't why I was here. That wasn't what the main driver was. What was the main driver? The freedom, the passion, the love of what I do. And because those are the main drivers, the rest of it will come. It's just, you just have to trust that. And I've seen it, right? And so you just have to keep going, keep doing the things that you love. And now that I feel like I have an understanding and proof or like confidence in the direction that I want to go, and I'm able to communicate that, I feel like I can start reaching out for help. But I kind of had to wrap my head around that first. So now this is like the showered section of what this pursuit looks like, of me representing my business, of me going out there and doing things according to what I want to do. But I think, again, if I had moved prior to this moment, I would have been chasing the wrong things for me. And I feel like I would have ended up lost all over again. So I'm hoping taking that pause, pulling myself out, just breathing through the transition, breathing through the change, and allowing myself space to see, right? And that's going to have a better, more aligned result. Because if no one told you, I didn't like leave my full-time job because I was like, I want to just walk my kids and like chill, ride my bike a little bit. Like, no, entrepreneurship is so much harder because you have to stay consciously in protection of yourself, of the reasons that you are here, of where you could go, because this one's hard for me. You don't have to stop working ever. Like, I could work all night long, or I could work all morning long, right? I could wake up at 2 a.m. and start working and start putting out work. And so for me, I have to stay conscious of that, because the issue isn't like, I want to quit my 9 to 5 and stop making normal money because I want to chill. It's like, I want to quit that because there's limits to that kind of work. Like, I want my work to be expansive, and I want to follow my passion and the things that I want to do. And I don't want there to be a ceiling, right? And there's always a ceiling. So that was a dumb thing to say. I take that back. I just want it to be up to me. That's it. And I want it to be on my terms. And it's not easier. If anyone tells you like, oh, freedom, it's not. It isn't. Entrepreneurship isn't that. It isn't freedom. It's actually more work than anything I've ever done. And it's so exciting and so inspiring and so amazing. But entrepreneurship doesn't just happen. It's such a long process. And I would say the longest process is figuring out who you are in order to develop a business that represents that. And that's hard. Entrepreneurship is not a joke. Do not tread lightly and get into it and be like, this is what I'm gonna do, right? Always understand the reasons that you got into it and stay true to those. And that's what this pause has been about. It's like, let's really get grounded in that. Let's really make sure that that's where we want to go. And now that we do, we can put ourselves back into the world and start moving forward. Hopefully. Big things coming. I think I promised that like a month ago. I didn't realize that this pause was going to be so important for me. Guess we're learning every day together.